how
That was
your
going to be one of
brain
my
works.
questions is because I've talked to other hypnotherapists and they talk about the mystical and then the science side of it. So are you on the science side of it?
100%, I believe
Okay.
the science side of it. And at the end of the day, when I work with my clients in everything in my message, I mix science, I mix faith, and I mix spirituality because you cannot take them apart.
Welcome to the Elite Few podcast, where we explore the fabulous, extraordinary world of the people who move the needle of success. Join our host Tiffany and producer Kyle as we dive into the stories and insights of the elite few who are making a difference and pushing the boundaries of what's possible. Let's get started.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kyle Goodnight, the producer of the Elite Few podcast, and I just want to tell you thank you for coming back and tuning in, along with my hostess with the mostest, Tiffany.
Hi, everybody. I'm Tiffany.
Fantastic. So just a little bit before we get into today's guest, I just want to make a couple of announcements. Don't forget that we have a merch on our website. We can go to the top where it says merch. You can buy awesome t-shirts, awesome mugs, things with sayings on it. We actually created a t-shirt for our guest from last week with Leon. His mess turned into his message. We thought that was a great t-shirt. It's up there, it's ready, it's available to be purchased, and all proceeds go to help support the channel. So please do so, along with sharing, liking, and telling everybody know about the Elite View podcast. So one thing I want to announce before we bring on our guest is the fact that we do have a new website. We still have the old website at theelitefew.com, but we also just procured Elite Few Media. Whoa! Right? We are now officially Elite Few Media, and we will be doing more stuff with that later on in our future. We are a growing podcast. We're getting popularity. We're getting traction. Tiffany is meeting people. She's going out and having fun in Orlando and meeting these amazing people that we're bringing on. Coach Queen, who we're going to be talking to today, we met her through a podcast Facebook page, and we just can't wait to talk to her. She's got so much great things to say. Tiffany, go ahead and introduce Tiffany. Yeah, introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. Again, I'm Tiffany, and I'm very excited today to be able to introduce you with Coach Queen. She is a leadership and performance coach. In addition to that, she also does hypnotherapy. And we really kind of clicked right away when we met. We have a lot of the same understandings and ideas, and we're in the same vibe about what's going on and how you can fix some problems. I am all about overcoming limiting beliefs, and hypnotherapy is perfect for that. Even if it's something very simple, like let's just say you want to quit smoking. You can do that in like 10 minutes with hypnotherapy. There's so many simple little things you can do and change about your life permanently without having to reprogram your subconscious mind. And she's going to go in and explain that for us today. Coach Queen, why don't you go ahead and tell us all about hypnotherapy, why you got into it, what brought you into this field, and what you do now.
Absolutely. So my background from as far as I can go, I studied marketing. So when you go on studying marketing, you have to study psychosociology. So psychology is part of marketing, as to understanding why people buy and what are their needs, etc. And so when I discovered that, I already was so fascinated by psychology, generally speaking, and I was like, mind blown. I wanted to know everything about psychology, and the brain truly is the most fascinating part of our bodies. And so years of studying, as well as being in business, but still being personally obsessed with psychology, I was like, oh my God, when I discovered hypnotherapy, I was just thinking I have to put myself into this, because there are certain things that on a personal level I needed to rewire, reprogram, and heal. And so after a few years of tiptoeing around that, I said I need to go into it fully. So I took my certification, and mind blown the amount of things that I've been able to just understand in very different perspective as to what we think hypnotherapy is and what it is not, right? There's a lot of there's a lot of misconceptions
Yes.
out there, and blame it on Hollywood.
Mhm.
The
Yeah,
thing we see,
I guarantee you have not once turned anyone into a chicken yet.
no, unless they want to.
We could try it on this show and hypnotize Kyle to be a chicken. No, he
You can
does that
hypnotize
already.
me to talk
He
like
does that.
Elmo or
Correct.
Grover, and I can put, I can, hypnotize me to become like one of the
He
character
does do
voices
those
that I can
pretty
do.
good. Yeah.
And so the things we see on on TV, in the cinema, in the movies and stuff like that, they're just glamorized for the attention and for the wow factor of the movies and stuff, but
Right.
that's not what we think, or what it is portrayed as. And side note, what I find really hilarious, on a side note personally, is that those actors who play and glamorize and change kind of like the meaning of hypnotherapy are the exact same people who use hypnotherapy to feel more confident, to perform better in their job. That's the biggest LOL for me personally. So, and hypnotherapy is used by Hollywood stars. It is used by people who speak in front of others, for obviously overcoming fear of public speaking, overcoming any kind of fear or any kind of self-doubt that you need completely cleared in order to look and feel and be like the leader you want to be portrayed as, right? So there's a lot of things like this. And as you mentioned, hypnotherapy can be used for a lot of different things, like stop smoking, losing weight when you're binge eating and overeating and stuff like that. So there's a lot of things for binge eating that we go through to understand why you're binge eating. And so it's not just about, oh, I'm not going to buy the sweets anymore, I'm not going to go to restaurants anymore or anything like that. Is really understanding what is the emotion behind, like what are you trying to numb while you are binge eating. And therefore, after this, we go deeper and we reprogram your mind to heal from those things. And I can talk about that because I faced binge eating, and what I came across in after a lot of deep work is that I needed to feel abundance. So whenever I was feeling stressed or thrown into a stressful situation, I needed to feel abundance. So therefore I was going to food to feel that abundance. And once I really discovered and understood this, it really cured my binge eating. It's insane.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So, we went through, you and I discussed it. I just, all my trauma with the divorce and my ex-husband's violations to people in our own home, right under my nose, was extremely, people don't understand. Many people have said things like, oh, divorce is so hard for people. It's going to take, well, yeah, I'm not upset about the divorce. Yeah. When these things happen to you, your relationship with that person just like dissolves, and there's no memory of anything because it wasn't real. And the trauma I was facing was the fact that not only did I not have control over what was happening, but people were hurt under my watch. And that is devastating. And I really wasn't getting past that. And as you know, you cannot manifest anything at all unless you can forgive yourself. And there was no way that I was going to allow that situation to define me in any way. I was absolutely not going to lose any powers, abilities, gifts, foresight, nothing. And I dove in deep, and hypnotherapy was amazing. It's been tremendous. I know Kyle was ready to probably lose his mind. I was just not well. I mean, even a couple of months ago, right, Kyle? I just couldn't pull it together. I mean, I would get through my days. I could get through my days. I could get clothes on. I could do makeup. I had no ability to connect to anything out here at all. So, I mean, all the hypnotherapy that I was doing was just phenomenal. It really rewired the programming of my subconscious mind and the loop that runs in your head, including your own anger towards yourself. It really lets you release that on the true level of just, forgiveness, just releasing it, like we discussed on our first podcast with Linda Markowitz on what forgiveness and release is. So when I met Queen and we discussed it in depth, it was pretty phenomenal to listen to everything she does. So many people have the worst conceptions of him. First of all, they don't understand as Christian that it's not it's not humanistic, it's not new age, it's none of that. It's just, literally, it's a way to heal yourself. Instead of 5 to 10 years of therapy, you can now sit down and within weeks you could be at the same place and overcoming things. Yeah. The one guy, Kyle, that I have you following all the time, lost 85 pounds in 6 months through hypnotherapy and started his own sessions because it's so tremendous. And you do public speaking a lot with your hypnotherapy. You help people. So can you go into that for us and let us know how you help them with that and how long that takes for each person and so forth, and explain that the limiting belief parts. I don't think many people watching truly understand what limiting beliefs are and why they hold you back.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for those questions. I love them. So I know you mentioned something in what you said that just picked up in my brain, and you said it's not new age. And this is totally true because it's so ancient. Like when you are studying hypnotherapy, you learn that it was even before the ancient Egypt, like in the time of the pharaohs and stuff like that, they were using hypnotherapy. So you guys, it's far from being new. It's far from being like woo-woo or magic. It's actually science. It's understanding how
that was going to be one of my
works.
questions, is because I've talked to other hypnotherapists and they talk about the mystical and then the science side of it. So are you on the science side of it?
100%. I believe the science side of it. And at the end of the day, when I work with my clients in everything in my message, I mix science, I mix faith, and I mix spirituality, because you cannot take them apart. They are powerful separately, but when you put them together, wow, you have it all. Because as human beings, we are so complex. God designed us in ways that is perfect and is so complex. So we tend to separate the mind from the body and from the soul and the spirit. It's wrong. Everything goes together. And when we are talking about the power of hypnotherapy and the subconscious beliefs, when you are going through stressful situations and stuff like that, and you're not properly managing your feelings, we live in a world where we hear suck it up, especially for men, or now woman it up, you know what I mean? Like, don't cry in front of others, we don't know how to manage our emotions because we're not taught how our emotions are so powerful. And when you are repressing those, what it does, the subconscious mind, right? You have your brain, you have your conscious mind, and your subconscious mind. So the subconscious mind, to make it super easy to understand, is your iOS, right? Think about your phone, your system behind that just analyze and handles everything. Your subconscious is handling all of this. Your subconscious is handling everything that happens in your body as you breathe, you walk, your heartbeat, everything that happens in between, everything, literally everything, every movement that happens inside is managed by your subconscious, right? This is science 101 in the conscious mind, which means how you think, how you ask questions, how you talk and stuff like that is what you are conscious of. But you don't know that your subconscious is literally like managing all of your organs inside of your body, right? And so when we are not managing our feelings the proper way, the subconscious mind is being told to repress. So what it does is that it represses and it holds in the body. Those feelings are held in the body. So for as long as you hold those feelings in the body, in the longer run, they create diseases. So if you're not managing your feelings and your emotions, the strongest one, the traumas, etc., they will end up creating disease in your body on the physical plane.
Wow. So that's, given the fact that autoimmune disorders, I'm a huge believer in several things. Most autoimmune disorders can be tracked back to them surfacing. Obviously, they're from DNA. You can be predispositioned just like you can with schizophrenia or alcoholism, but you aren't necessarily going to become an alcoholic unless you start drinking a lot and aren't able to handle your emotions, even though it runs in your family. And that's the same thing with autoimmune disorders. And I'm a big believer in that. Trauma happens. You have your misplaced feelings and ability to deal with them. And there are several things I've noticed that drains your body, all that stress of certain vitamins that are extremely key. As you know, vitamin B is a big one. The majority of people who have autoimmune disorders, has been proven that they can start taking certain vitamins and it'll improve their circumstances because, well, let's face it, if we wait for a doctor to say we're low in any vitamin, we're pretty much almost dead.
Right.
The amount we actually need versus what they say we need to just barely be alive is never the same. But when it comes to the hypnotherapy and the mental part of it, our psychological stability is huge for how much our health is affected and how much we can even heal ourselves and believe our body to be able to be healed. If you have a negative attitude, you have a negative outcome on anything, it's going to surface in sickness and healing, and you're not going to be getting better. And I've always thought I was pretty positive about a lot, but I mean, I was just getting sick and sick and sick all the time. And we know there were other contributing factors in the stress within the marriage and the dealing with, all of those things end up showing up as autoimmune disorder. As you know, Hashimoto's is very much one of those. My cortisol levels are through the roof.
Yeah.
The more I learned about narcissism and the amount of people who have autoimmune disorders that live with narcissists has been shocking.
Yeah.
Wow.
But if I would have known about hypnotherapists a long time ago, not just 16 years ago is when I quit smoking. I just was a casual smoker, but I never had one again. It wasn't even hard. But if I would have known about how much other items, because I did use those techniques to get over other things and other issues, but I didn't know that we could pick those things out. And I'm pretty sure my health issues would have started to get better even sooner, because the what I did was really dig into it and have to find out, because now I live alone and my son lives on his own because he's an adult, he's 26, and I can't just get sick constantly. Not that I liked it before, but I didn't know how to fix it. And the more I looked into it, the hypnotherapy basis alone, oh my word. I mean, I've noticed a health difference just in the last 3 months. I mean, just in breathing. Now, obviously, the cat's guy will cause a breathing problem. He can always tell when I come back home and I'm with the cats and my breathing changes.
If
But
anybody wants cats in the Orlando, Florida area, we have 2 very beautiful cats that are available. Or, sorry, not we, Tiffany, but it's kind of we because,
Kyle gets over he has to deal with the fallout of anything I get upset with. I just had to replace a housekeeper, and he was like, for a month and a half, for the love of God, get a new housekeeper. I cannot deal with this. I'm going to go insane. He's living like 1,500 miles away, but every time.
or 400, whatever.
Yeah.
So I've got a question, Queen. When it comes to our dreams, what is that? What are our dreams, our subconscious? And when it comes to our dreams and we wake up and it's weird or wonky or dangerous or hurtful or happy or sad, is that something that ties into hypnotherapy? And
so I
if so,
understand.
how?
Yeah, I understand the question. It doesn't really tie up with hypnotherapy, but we are in the same frequency right now. We are talking about the same thing. Is literally what your subconscious was able to pick up throughout the days and stuff like that. And your dream is, they can be a translation of your current state of mind, just for your subconscious to try to speak to you, and in a way that hopefully will make sense and will impact you to take action. So this is literally your subconscious talking to you through your dreams. So when you are going into different kind of dream interpretation, and that we are going more like in the spiritual level of that, because science doesn't cover that. In that regard, you can definitely go I have a website where I go all the time and I look into it. And so it's spiritual, it's religious at the same time, and it talks to you about the dreams, and at the same time it just really tells you, oh, this is how you're thinking. And then you realize, yeah, this is exactly what's going on in my mind lately, you know. And this is it's funny because I don't consult that every time. I used to at some point, but not anymore. But just today I did because I had a weird dream last night.
What is this
And
telling me?
yeah, and I read it through and I was like, yeah, this is true. I feel this way these days. So it's speaking to me, and it's like, it's just your subconscious is, I don't want to say cry for help, but it's a message that your subconscious literally wants you to understand, like, this is what's going on and we need to fix that. It's like, hey, red flag, let's talk about that right now, let's fix this.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love the way that, Tiffany, you went into, you know, vitamins and stuff like that. Bridging from what I said just before, it's like, you know, we tend to not only suppress our emotions, but as soon as there's something wrong or something that feels, you know, this is not easy, you feel not, you know, in harmony in your body, we directly tend to medicate, and that's the worst thing you can start doing.
Yeah.
As I said before, we were designed perfectly by the Almighty, so there are ways, so many natural ways. And we are talking about, you know, like when there's stresses in your life and stuff like that, just breathing and breath work can do amazing, just in reducing the anxiety and stuff like that. People smoke because they want to breathe out. It's not because they want to smoke, it's because they want to do that natural breathe in and breathe out so that they feel relaxed. You can stop smoking and start breath work right away.
That's
Huh.
true. That's
You
true.
are very right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you actually do feel like a ton better. You take your, cigarette break.
Yeah.
Well, plus the benefit was always when you smoked, you got more breaks than everybody else.
We had so many at the hospital I worked at. We had so many people in a respiratory therapy, you know, department. We had so many people that smoked, and of course, I've never smoked, and we just got fed up with it. The non-smokers were like, you know what, we're going to go on our Coke break, and it's not the line of Coke break. It was the beverage Coke break, and I think I typically got like a Dr. Pepper, but nonetheless, we were like, oh, we got to go on our Coke break. If you went on your smoke break, your little smoky treats, or your one of the guys was like, I have to go out for my pulmonary.
Well, I mean, the reality is, though, it is not fair, right? It's not fair that they're doing something that supposedly they get an extra break for because they have an addiction. Okay, well, I'm gonna go snort heroin. Like what? Like what? I gotta. It's that time of day, guys. It's every 4 hours. I gotta snort my heroin.
And let's just make sure we know that Tiffany is not a heroin addict. Let's go ahead and strike that from the record.
Everybody's looking at my skin. They can tell my skin. This is not a face that does those kind of drugs.
And so you asked another question that I didn't answer, was like, how do I work with my client when we go through the hypnosis sessions and stuff like that? So there's a lot of just talking throughout the beginning to understand who they are, what is the background, and what is the desire, you know, what is the goal. And what I do literally is that I want to understand why they desire to be there. The why is so important because it will give you the genuine, is this truly you who wants this, or is this coming from outside perspective or outside motivation or anything like that? What I want is, in my whole work, whether it's through hypnosis or anything else, is to make sure that you are empowered and that every decision comes from you, from a genuine perspective, not because you want to people please. And that's huge to make that difference, right? So once I know that this is, and after work, you know, and after having my client just confirming, yes, this is me, this is where I feel it in my body, I feel, I want, I desire, this is what I want, right? And so based on that, we have the plan. And so then after that, I just go on my site and script a hypnosis session. And we can do that face to face, or I can record in audio where literally in the script is literally what you want. We discussed about that. There's nothing I add on top of this. And then on your time you can just relax and go through the audio, because basically what hypnosis does and how it works is like, it's not supposed to be something you do every day. It's not supposed to it's not supposed to it's not supposed to be something you do too much, right? It means that it just didn't work if you have to do it too much. But you, like, generally speaking, at the beginning 3 sessions to get you where you want, and then we just maintain with an audio every 3 to 6 months until you don't have to do it anymore, right? So it's a little bit of work, but it's definitely way quicker than if you have to go on and instill a new habit, because according to science it takes 21 days of conscious effort. So that means that you have to fight yourself, literally, your mind going like, hey, what are you doing? Like, no, this is, we are not used to that, right? And you have to go like, no, I want to do it, right? So it's conscious effort every single time for 21 consecutive days. It means that if you miss one day because whatever, your mind took over or anything happens, because life happens, right? It means you start over from scratch. Day zero, day one, start again, you know. So if you don't complete those 21 days, you go ahead and start again from scratch. So it's your choice, truly. Like, do you want to go through 21 hard days or do you want to go through just a few hours to just change
Yeah.
your habits and stuff like that? Up to
So
you.
when it comes to I've had the theatrical version of hypnotists. I've been in a theater when they've hypnotized several people up on stage for comic reasons. You know, I know that's a different group of hypnotists, I believe. I don't know if they believe in science or just the fun of it, but either way, I remember one time in early college where I was down in Florida, Eckerd, and right there around Clearwater, right? And it was the hypnotist night, and I came in to see a friend of mine, and it was hypnotist night. Hypnotist, you gotta come, you gotta come. I'm like, okay. And I'm like, I definitely wanted to be picked, right? I just wanted to see. I've never been hypnotized. I wanted to see if I could. And I wore a big United States flag shirt. And when he said, I need volunteers, I stood right up. And of course, he could see me like, wow, that guy's got American flags, planted on him. So I got up there, started doing all the stuff. He started listening, started looking at the thing that was on the stage. And then I came and all of a sudden he came up and tapped me on the back. He's like, you need to leave. And I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, we couldn't get you under. You need to go back down and down in your seat. And I'm like, okay, no problem, whatever. And I was the only one. So I don't know if I'm pretty heavy self-diagnosed ADHD. It's shiny bright things. You've probably already seen me. If we haven't cut me out of it, I've shiny bright things a few times during your talk because I want to get notes and I got to throw this away. And so I'm a shiny bright things guy. So I can hyper focus. I do. I mean, I can hyper focus and get all kinds of stuff done. But when it comes to ADHD and trying to hypnotize them, do you find that they're harder to hypnotize or that they're easier to hypnotize, or you just have to switch a switch in their brain, not to help an ADHDer, because I think ADHD is kind of a superpower, honestly, when you're using it properly. So I don't want to lose that. But when it comes to that fact of I can't go under because my brain is just always moving. What
Yeah,
do you
sure
have to say
thing.
about that?
Very interesting question. And when it comes to ADHD, right? It's simplified. Just to know, it's amplified. So you have more the symptoms if you are in lack of sleep. So the first thing that I recommend is to increase the sleep pattern for a little bit. So what I want is your brain to be rested as much as possible, because that's what hypnosis is. We rest you and really relax you you have four wave in your brain, right? And I want to hit the last one right before you sleep. And if I can't get you here before, is because already, like, if your brain is just fidgeting and this and going all over the place, what we want is already to bring you to a state where you are more regularized, like more, like holding yourself, right? So that's the first thing. And science is proof that the less you sleep, the more you have those effects of ADHD. Now, even science, and that's something that I have read pretty recently in the last few months or so, was saying that a study proved that there is no such thing as ADHD because it actually just a lack of sleep overall over a long period in your lifetime, basically. So that is to be questioned, and that is to be also studied and understood. At the end of the day, I'm not the pro in this, but I'm just sharing the message, because as I said, I work with science and spirituality and faith, and that is part of it all. So first of all, as I said, I will make you sleep more, see what is your sleeping pattern for about 2-3 weeks, and then make sure that you sleep a little bit more throughout this time. And then at this time now, then I know that I have the best of your energy pent up so that your brain can start doing the work. We very often under what am I trying to say? We undermine the amount of energy the brain needs. And that the first thing to do is to sleep more, which is like, duh,
Right.
But what if you already have issues that keeps you sleeping? And this is where we go deeper into details, into understanding why you're not sleeping properly, what is happening exactly in your mind, and then just try to fix those things, quote unquote, heal those things away. You need to purging in your feelings. There's something that happened in your life or whatever. It's a step-by-step process, but the point is to make sure that we hit your mind on the conscious and the subconscious level, the energy level, and then we go do the work that we have to do. It takes time, obviously. And as I said earlier, yes, a lot of people just want to medicate, but that's not the point. The point is to truly purge out everything that is not supposed to be there so that you are in your best health.
I think that is really important, because the more I did it, the more I was in hypnotherapy, and I sent Kyle some too, the easier it was. So by the time I started with this therapist in particular, I had already been doing this stuff for like 6 weeks, and it becomes easier and easier to calm down and to get into it. But you have to do it consistently. And I every day try to do a program at night, and then I do affirmations as I'm going to sleep. I have them playing to reprogram my subconscious loop that's going on, and to put in a new loop that overrides that. I think if we could all just even take a tiny bit, even 1 or 2 hypnotherapy courses, just to fix some triggers from when we were young, oh my goodness, we could be so much more successful on all areas, even if it just comes to emotional intelligence, which at this day and age, I mean, I feel like, there's so many adults who don't understand that we have to continue to grow our emotional intelligence. There's never a point that we're like, yeah, I got this. Well, I do not have it. I'm always just a few bad turns from snapping. Isn't that right, Kyle?
Right.
But I mean, the point is, we all could use help from trauma. My reasons for getting into it were things right now that my brain wasn't sorting out, but it's been helping with everything across the board. And you and I have had many conversations, and we're looking at all that, but we definitely need to do a follow-up with you, Coach Queen, because not only are you amazing, and this is a great way for people to understand and learn, but there's a link they can go to on your page. And I think you had we talked about that the other day, right?
Yes, absolutely. That's going to be in your page.
On my page, that's right.
Oh, we're going to put a link on her page? Okay.
So no, it's a link, and go ahead. It's a link that is a hypnotism thing, right? They sign up and register with you.
Yeah, it's going to be like a direct download, basically. So whenever you feel, wherever you want to share the link, you just enter your email address, and then you're going to have access to a free hypnosis. That is usually priced at $111, but just for you guys, it's gonna be free. So just enter your email address, and this one precisely brings you in a journey of deep self-centering and deep self-love, because I believe that a whole lot of things can be just as anxiety and everything else, right? Depression, whatever you feel in those moments, right? Especially in these days, a lot of stress is going on. If you just recenter in your heart center, really, and just understand your level of love, this is where it's a journey. This one is very, very special. The first time I did this exercise, I cried. It was literally when I was working towards healing my people-pleasing tendencies. So it's really understanding the power of your love as a person. When you are in front of someone that you love so much and you're giving them that hug with that strength of love, you don't get to feel how your love feels. You never actually in your entire life get to feel how your love feels. And so this exercise, especially for this, because it will definitely, it's love that comes back to you in you the full force that you are used to giving others. How about you get it yourself this time?
Love
That's
that.
awesome.
Love
And we'll
that.
put that in the link in the bottom underneath our description, and we'll have it someplace on our website as well.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I
That's
look
awesome.
back to circling back and to coming back. We just want to welcome you and thank you for coming to the
Absolutely.
Elite Few and joining us. It's been a great time. I really like this episode. I think it's going to be amazing. And I hope people, join in. And if they don't even use you, I hope they find a hypnotherapist. I mean, there's so many options out there that you've got to do something to fix what's happening. And a lot of times I hear people say, well, this takes a while. It just takes, no, it doesn't.
No.
You're choosing for it to take a while because one, you're doing nothing about it. You're not fixing it at all. You're just saying, I have this problem and I'm sad. And it takes a while. Okay. That's called nothing. Nothing will change. Then people who try to go to therapy, but that could take 3, 4, 5, 10 years. And then there's hypnotherapy and you're just knocking stuff down left and right. And within, 6 months, you could be a different human being altogether.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's not forget to say that some therapists definitely tell you to go through hypnotherapy. So it's something that is also recognized by therapists as well. So that's why we're also called hypnotherapists.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, also too, Tiffany said something there that jogged my memory about just something I saw the other day about David Letterman. And I guess I didn't know this, but he was a raging alcoholic, I guess. Yeah. And he just said he would, he got the Tonight Show, or late night, whatever it was back then. And he didn't get the Tonight Show. That's the one thing he didn't get. But I just saw a little snippet and he said, I finally got to where I wanted to be and I was done. I needed to stop drinking and I stopped. And that was probably some sort of subconscious switch that he did that he probably didn't realize he listened to his conscious, but he just, and I'm wondering if that's some people, you hear people that can do that, I just woke up one morning and said, I don't want to do this anymore. I quit cold turkey, that cold turkey thing. So is that something where they've actually kind of self-hypnotize themselves? Or
you got it perfectly right in there, because as a hypnotherapist, I'm only a guide. You are doing the whole work, not me. I'm just here to guide you into places in your mind that you don't know where to go. I'm just guiding you, like literally you never went there intentionally, so I'm just going there with you intentionally. So I'm just literally holding your hand and you are doing the whole work.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, once again, that link will be in the description on our website. Queen, can you go ahead and any other way that you'd like people to get a hold of you, if possible, a website? You can send it to me later, but go ahead and mention it, an email, whatever, your social medias, like what you are. Go ahead and let everybody know that, and we'll wrap things up.
I hang out a lot on Instagram these days, so that's going to be coachqueen.sg, and you can just follow me or even slide in my DMs. I'm open to conversations. So you can go ahead and just do that.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for joining us. And everybody, keep watching. We have a lot of new episodes coming up. We can't wait to have you join us. See you next time. Oh, and stay fabulous.
There it is.
There.